If you've paid any attention to the runners that you see in your day-to-day life, or watched the pained expressions on the faces of any participants of any fun run, you'd have noticed that most don't look so happy. But like so much in life, all is not what it seems. The runner and physician George A. Sheehan deftly noted, "Happiness is different from pleasure. Happiness has something to do with struggling and enduring and accomplishing." Sheehan hit on one of the great truths here. That is, that happiness is gained by being, not by having. I'll look at what this means and at exactly what actions we can take to be happy people and successful runners. We've been sold a pup. What we thought we were getting by participating in consumer culture was not what we got. Well, I'm pretty sure most people know that drinking a certain brand of beer won't put them on a yacht surrounded by beautiful people. We often do buy into it. Humans, by nature, do fantasy much better than we do reality. Despite knowing, on some level, that we are being lied to, we play along. If having things could give us happiness, we'd already have it. Modern people have a lot of stuff, and from where we are, we don't seem to be the happiest iteration of our species. So, if having can't give us happiness, how can being produce the goods? Let's start by looking briefly at the story of Siddhartha, the founder of Buddhism. Born into wealth, Siddhartha Gautama, the historical Buddha, had what we all take for granted. He had everything. And like us, he also had a nagging feeling that something was just not right. His palace confines, while offering him all the comforts, shielded him from the reality of life and any opportunity to find out what this reality was. On the few occasions he ventured out, the young man encountered three things that shook him: a sick man, an old man, and a dead man. Nothing in his perfectly cloistered upbringing had prepared Gautama for this, and as a result his restlessness only grew. These chance encounters lit a fire, and going on as he was became increasingly untenable. Finally, a decision was made that would change everything. Leaving behind all he knew, wife and son included, Siddhartha took on the life of a robe-wearing, wandering ascetic. For 6 years he sought liberation and the answers to the questions of life. On this path he learned how to discipline his mind. He learned how to go without food, pushing his body to its physical limits. Although instructional, all extremes proved ineffectual. Nearing the end and being close to death, Gautama made another fateful decision. He resolved to find food, to abandon asceticism, and to seek the middle way. This middle way was there all along, and he found it while listening to the river, sitting cross-legged under a Bodhi tree. Siddhartha's enlightenment came with the realization that liberation is within every one of us, that there is nothing to have, nothing to get, and being is all there is. Simultaneously, he found that the root of unhappiness comes from simply not knowing this. Gautama lived to be an old man, and his enlightenment and subsequent Buddhist teachings moved history. If new to Buddhism, I'd suggest a study of the Four Noble Truths as a good starting point to understanding. Buddhist psychology and metaphysics is way too important to be summarized here. But for now, I'll stick to my point. That is, the contention that happiness is gained by being and not by having. So here we all are, with liberation at our fingertips, just by being. Seeking happiness is something that is no longer necessary, as you have it now, if you want it. The Beatles knew it. "You can't buy me love," they said. We gain love by being in love. A seemingly simple concept that is lost on many today. Having is not enough, as knowing is not enough. We need to be, we need to do, to put things into practice and to act. Some brief thoughts on this, and then I'll cover some helpful ways to be a better runner. An important part of our evolved cognitive development came from the act of hunting for our food. Our hominid ancestors became good at hunting by using their imagination, which, in turn, worked to increase their mental capacities. These successful hunters showed respect for the animals they hunted and their own lives by understanding what their prey was capable of. Their keen observations of the animal often came from them putting themselves in the position of the animal by becoming them. Only then could they make their successful predictions based on what they correctly knew of the animal's behavior. Understanding how to throw a spear or a net is one thing, but to be successful, the hunter must throw at something. That is, not only know where that something is, they must know where it will be after they throw their spear. If they don't, they aim but hit nothing. Successful runners also must know the mechanics of running, but also have a future target they can realistically hit. Being a good runner means doing the workouts, the long runs, the tempo and interval sessions. It means slow recovery runs and tough hill sessions. It means being uncomfortable sometimes and being within our comfort zones at other times. It does take some time, months to years, but if we do what most other successful runners have done, we become that as well. I'm not saying that following Eliud Kipchoge's workouts will turn us into him, but following this basic pattern and being consistent with it will get us a lot further than that beard ad on TV will get us to that yacht or the girl or boy of our dreams. The cynics and the salesmen would have us believe that we need to have things before we can be happy. I agree somewhat. Some things like a wool sweater or a fast motorbike can give you happiness. Yet most things like this are more valuable in the wanting of them than in the getting of them. The happiness that George Sheehan talked about, the one that comes from struggling and enduring and accomplishing, is the real one. And most anyone who has accomplished anything knows this. Especially runners know this, as running and racing perfectly represents effort equals reward. In the world of distance running, the phrase from the Latin, "with this, therefore because of this," is a demonstrable fact. Set a plan through self-research or with a coach. Mark it on a calendar and determine to follow through. No doubt you'll have troubles. Running is analogous to life in this respect. Yet, if you do this, you'll be happy. The moment you put on your shoes and step out the door, you'll be happy, because you'll be a runner, no less than anyone who has won an Olympic medal. You may not reach the heights of others or look particularly happy while doing it, but being a runner will make you happy. Guaranteed.